kids. It's time to get some SML podcast all up in that.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML podcast. I'm your host, Joe. Joining as usual, Cole. How are you doing?
Are we doing this again? We're doing this again. Fuck.
Yeah.
It just never ends, does it?
It doesn't. Twice a week, forever.
No, because eventually we're going to die.
Well, look on the bright side. When we're done with this, you get to just stop and relax, and then I have to edit.
Ha ha, get fucked. Wait a second, though. You don't fucking edit anything. You're just like, yeah, we did that during the show. Push.
No, I edit every now and then.
That's unfortunate.
I have to, compress all the audio so it's all the same level.
We have to have, some professional integrity.
No, not that far.
Oh. Okay. I was just curious exactly how far we were going in the editing department.
Not far, but there is enough there.
Truncate silence. Done.
Yeah. See, but to do that, I need to run noise removal first to get rid of the hiss from the background. Otherwise, instead of hearing silence that you could truncate, you hear...
Is that my ceiling fan that does that?
I don't know what it is. It's either something on your end, something on my end, something on everyone's end. It's just audio noise.
Skype. I'm going to blame Skype for everything.
Okay, that works.
This wouldn't happen if we recorded over Discord.
It did happen over Discord, too.
Oh. Well, damn it, I tried.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Don't do that. Trying is just...
Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Oh, man, I don't have time for anything. I just want to go to bed right now.
You know what? Well, you could go to bed if we take some time for news.
True.
My segue. Look how professional I am.
Yeah, you're trying.
Celebrate my victory.
I think the big news of the week is, I'm sure you saw this, Xbox announced a limited edition Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox One X console.
I have two feelings about this.
What are they?
Ooh, it's pretty.
Okay.
And also... why isn't it as pretty as the Cyberpunk GPU was?
I didn't see that.
Oh my god. It was all yellow and it was lovely. And that's my favorite color. And so that's what color I wanted the Cyberpunk Xbox to be. But it's not. And
I think it still looks good.
It is. It's lovely. It's just not
as lovely.
Exactly. The hell? We're in a lockdown. Why is there traffic? The fuck are the rednecks doing?
It's okay. I have cats going crazy on my end.
Mine are all asleep, but the rabbit might be making noise. I don't know if you all heard him the other day. He was getting really wild and I had to mute for a little bit, but he's got a new bigger cage. And so now he's strutting his stuff because he can really run around in there.
You know who else is strutting their stuff?
Who?
No Time for Games, who just subbed for 25 months in a row.
No Time likes to make long-lasting bad decisions. And we are appreciative of your questionable spending
life choices.
There's a gnat flying around in my face. Okay.
I like how the last episode of the show is just called Ugh. Because now I don't know what to name this episode.
2.0.
I'll just put 2 H's on it.
Sounds good.
I make horrible decisions and I'm damn proud of it. Thank you, No Time.
I'm proud of you for them.
Yeah, but that Xbox One X console looking really good. They've confirmed this is the final limited edition Xbox One X console that is going to be released. It's specially designed console with a controller, a 1 terabyte hard drive, and a digital copy of Cyberpunk once it actually launches, and it will be limited to only 45,000 units.
Wow. Yeah, see, I looked up the picture again, and the console itself has like a little bit of yellow on the back, and then like there's some yellow accents, but the controller has no yellow on it at all.
No.
And I'm going to go find that GPU so I can show it to you so you can be like, yeah, that was prettier. It was a GeForce RTX. Yeah. And they only made like 700 or something of them. It was like super limited.
Wow.
So I can't even be like, well, I could just, I don't know, stimulate the economy by buying one.
We still haven't gotten our fucking stimulus checks in.
We haven't either. God damn it. Why won't it let me? What is it doing? Let me send this message. No, I don't want to share my screen. I don't want you to see everything I'm doing. There we go. There. See how much prettier that is?
Oh, Skype made a noise.
Ugh.
It went whoop whoop. Like, what the hell is that about?
Fun fact, whoop whoop is what my little heart says when it sees that card.
That is a nice card.
I will never have that. It also wouldn't match the rest of my computer scheme, but I don't give a fuck because it's yeller.
Yeller.
Yeah, I fought it. I said yellow several times, but then
you did. I was proud of you a couple times.
That one fell out, and I couldn't stop it.
Then you ruined it.
Yep.
You ruined it.
I made a conscious effort, and then I exhausted my effort.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? Death Stranding's PC release has been delayed to July 14th due to the coronavirus situation. So PC players have a couple of more weeks to wait on that one.
I would actually play it on PC. I have no interest in getting a PlayStation for it, but I'd play it on PC.
Why do the cats always come in and start scratching cardboard when I'm doing a show?
Because cats. Mine are asleep. One is asleep on top of the curio. One is asleep over here on the other computer chair, and the other one is back in the bathroom asleep.
I'm asleep on my computer chair.
Go for it. Okay, bye. Nice show.
You told me to.
Somebody commented on one of my clips and is like, "What the fuck are you doing though?" And I'm like, "I don't even know. What am I?"
What clip?
It was on a clip of Doug hates his job.
Oh, like on Xbox?
Yeah. I was like, so what is this notification popping up? And it's this. And I forgot I even made that clip, but I made it specifically to send it to the devs to show there was an error, which we will talk about later during reviews. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We're doing a bad job at speedrunning.
We are. Were we speedrunning?
We probably should, because I don't know how much energy I have this episode.
Well, if we have to stop and not edit because we do this all together, there we are.
No, we got shit to do. Final Fantasy VII Remake has shipped and digitally sold over 3.5 million copies in 3 days. And holy shit, No Time for Games just dropped 500 biddies. George, you're going to have to wait a second because I'm not at all prepared, but take it away.
Dropping bits!
Thank you, George.
Wet pancakes!
No Time said doing my part to stimulate you. Pretty sure that's a terms of service violation, but I'm not going to report it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the biddies. It is much appreciated. Oh, my Lord. So, yeah, 3.5 million copies in 3 days.
Did you see, though, that there's drama over the Final Fantasy, like, streaming the ending?
No, what do you mean?
If you are live streaming the end, it cuts to black over the cutscene. and blocks the stream from streaming it. And if you bypass that by using a capture card and you have it uploaded literally anywhere, you will get a cease and desist letter from Square Enix.
Wow.
Boop, boop. I heard it. I got a boop boop, and I don't know why.
Did you get an image on Skype?
No, but I got a boop boop, so I don't know what for.
There's juggalos everywhere.
No.
Whoop whoop.
No. Although, shout out to them for canceling their convention this year.
Did they?
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody shared it, and it was on my Facebook timeline, and I was like, I don't have particularly high opinion of juggalos, but kudos. Everybody else is being a jackass, but they know not to kill people.
Yeah, I'm not kind big of into the scene, or I'm not big into the music, but they seem to be okay people. Yeah. They just want to do what they want to do and have fun.
They don't quite understand the concept of magnets. I don't remember what the whole quote was, but there was one where that was like they said some dumb shit about magnets. And I was like, okie dokie. But at least if you're not trying to kill your people, you don't have to understand magnets to know not to kill your people with a virus. True. So, shout out to them on that. Good job, juggalos.
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a mystery to all of us. WWE have confirmed that there will not be a WWE 2K21 this year.
You don't say.
I think that's a good idea.
I can't fathom why they wouldn't want to just, reskin the current game and sell it again.
I mean, it's probably for the best considering they just released like 30 people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were those the people that were responsible for all the glitches?
No, I'm talking like actual wrestlers were let go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were they the glitchy wrestlers in the game?
Yes. They were the ones without arms, or the ones that like their body parts were twice as long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they needed to go.
Every show can't be a winner, people. Just fucking deal with us. You get the highs, you get the lows. Next week, you're getting some interviews. Those will be fun. Last week, we had some interviews. Those were fun. This week, just fucking suck it up and deal with it.
We have to carry this on our own personalities, and God damn it, we don't have any.
Not at all. Best Buy had a listing up on their website for Super Mario 3D World on the Nintendo Switch, so it looks like one of the final Wii U games that has not gotten love outside of that platform might be showing up on the Switch finally. Okay,
that's not bad.
Solid game, one of the better Mario platformers in recent years, so that is exciting.
I don't need any modern Marios. You can play the old ones, and I'm happy about that.
Indeed. And then last bit of news, we have some Game Pass news. This past week, we got Yakuza Kiwami and Gato Roboto released directly to Xbox Game Pass this week.
Big week.
Indeed. And then May is going to be pretty big as well. A little bit of bad news. Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be leaving Game Pass on May 7th.
Sayonara.
But the good news, it's being replaced by Red Dead Redemption 2.
That is quite an upgrade.
That is a hell of an upgrade.
I've never played Red Dead Redemption.
Well, now you have a shot.
Yeah. No, I don't, because I don't have time to play the Game Pass games. I especially don't have 1,500 hours to throw at Red Dead Redemption.
I gotta admit, I couldn't get into Red Dead 2. It was too realistic. I think games are getting too realistic, too much of a slog sometimes. It was gorgeous. I've never seen such a beautiful game. The realism is off the charts with, characters' movement and physics and animals. It's just a really well put together game. It's just not for me. It's too slow paced.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah. I've heard it's kind of divisive. You either love it or you don't.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, that's the news I got. Anything you want to talk about? I told you it's not a big week.
No, we kind of hit the long and short of it, didn't we?
Yeah.
No time for games said you mean you don't have 5,000 hours to spend on Red Dead 2? I have 9 reviews this week?
No, not that many.
Not this many. No, I think I have 9 or 10 overall coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got 6 tonight.
6 tonight. And then I've got plus Deliver Us the Moon. I have that one to work on too. In addition to everything else I've got. So yeah, no, I don't have 5. And I've also got 4 days now, 3.5 days now to get everything ready for a gallery showing. Fuck.
So you're doing Deliver Us the Moon through XGR or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Because Dark Mika demanded it for us.
Did she? Well,
yeah.
If we get it, she can have it then, I guess.
Well, she has it. So.
Oh, well then.
I should have taken it. If you had it for XGR, shit. I missed out on a free game.
Yeah.
Damn you, Aki. Oh, my lord. But should we get to reviews? We do have a bunch to talk about this week. We should probably dive into them.
Yep.
All right. Well, first game to talk about tonight is called MotoGP 20, developed and published by Milestone, released April 23rd on Xbox One, PS4, Switch, PC, and Stadia for $49.99. This year, experience all the thrills of the more complete than ever managerial career mode and enjoy new technical improvements and graphics. Customize your bike and suit, compete against the MotoGP legends, or challenge your friends online. Surlyna covered this one as well as myself, so I'm going to read what she's got to say, and I will add in my opinions where I see fit. Hey there, Joe Cam, Cole, and all other SML friends and fam. It's Surlyna, and this week I'm reviewing MotoGP 20, developed by Milestone on the Xbox One. MotoGP 20 is a realistic motorcycle racing game that aims to put you right in the middle of all the action, maintenance, and upkeep of being a rider on the Moto Grand Prix racing circuit. Let's get started with the review. MotoGP is robust. There are several modes that you can use to indulge your moto racing endeavors. The quick mode allows you to pick predetermined riders, racetracks, options for the race, i.e. laps and weather conditions, and riding aids like auto brakes and trajectory aids, but you can't choose your bike. The selection of riders is vast, and I'm sure you'll be able to find a rider that speaks to you. Quick mode also boasts Grand Prix time trials and championship races, so you really have the pick of the litter here. There's even a historic mode available where you have to defeat challenges. Yeah, challenges.
Oh my gosh, sounding like me now.
I told you I am tired. I am fighting to make it through this. I can halfway read. I'm doing my best. Maybe if I make the text bigger, that'll work.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's even a historic mode available where you have to defeat challenges to earn rewards that unlock historic MotoGP riders, bikes, and teams. If I were more into the moto scene, I would imagine this would be incredibly exciting. When you defeat a challenge, you earn diamonds to use in the historic market. The challenges and market change every day, so if there's something you want, I'd suggest picking it up before it disappears into the ether. Finally, we get to the meat and potatoes of the game, the career mode. In this mode, you get to create and customize your very own rider to race in the Grand Prix. The customization was surprisingly detailed. You can choose the gender, face types, helmets, gloves, knee pads, boots, the works. There may not be a ton of selection in each of the individual categories, but the fact that there was a selection was pretty awesome. Once you decide on your avatar, you get to pick your manager. If you're just starting out, your manager won't be great, but each has a perk that makes them better than the other managers available. Then you can pick which racing team you want to sign a contract with. Each team has different bonuses and expectations of you as a rider, so pick whichever team you can live with. Or if you have a fan favorite team, go ahead and pick that one. The choice is yours. Once all that is done, you're able to start a new season. But you can't race, not yet anyway. This is one of my gripes with the game. You're on a 52-week racing schedule, and the events don't happen every week. So if you're new to this type of game, you're sitting there wondering what you should be doing in your downtime. You should be doing research and development on your bike's engine and frame, though you can later unlock aerodynamics and electronics. These allow you to get better performance out of your bike. The game doesn't tell you this, though, so you're going to be going in fairly blind like I was, and you'll have to poke and prod your homepage to find all the stuff you can do. Plus, as the weeks pass, you'll get opportunities to replace your manager, your technical staff, even your racing team if you're an awesome rider. Even so, there's a ridiculous amount of stuff to do in downtime in between races, and I'm not that fond of it. I really got to my first race in week 10. When you begin the race, you don't actually begin the race. You follow the weekend schedule, which is comprised of 3 free practices that allow you to learn the track, let you learn how your bike handles, learn the tire compounds, the weight of the gas, and how that affects your bike, all of that. And then there's 2 rounds of qualifying on Saturday, which is important for your bonuses from your racing team. On Sunday, you have a warm-up and then the actual race. Please note you don't have to do all the stuff that I just listed, but I recommend doing at least 1 free practice to familiarize yourself with your bike and the track and the qualifying rounds. The race itself is actually fairly short and anticlimactic, especially if you did all that prep before. MotoGP 20 is available now on the Xbox One for $49.99, and should you buy it, unless you're all about that realistic motorcycle racing life, I can't recommend this game. There's so much information that is simply thrown at you, and the game's like, go live your life. And you're like, but how? Still, if you're familiar with the franchise, or you've always wanted to control every aspect of being a moto racer, down to what type of tire you need for each specific track, then this game is for you. It will hold your attention for a very long time. I can agree with a lot of what she says. I don't think that it's a game you should avoid if you're not into the motorcycle racing life. There are plenty of assists in the game for newer riders that you could get your hands on and make the races a bit more accommodating. That said, even in career mode, playing on the easiest difficulty, which we all know is what I do because I'm a pussy crybaby who plays on pussy crybaby mode, which you have so wonderfully named that mode for me now.
It's a fitting name, and it's fitting for how we typically play games.
Yeah. They do have a rewind available in the game, and I will say, whether or not you're a pro rider or a beginner rider, I would race with rewind enabled. I tried playing without it enabled. I wrecked 1 time, and I could not get back to the pack.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It was just like I rode near perfect the entire time. Just in the beginning, when all the riders were clumped together, I bumped into one. I wrecked. It was fun to watch me take out a bunch of other bikes as the wreck progressed. Because I'm a dick.
Yeah. Truth in advertising.
Sorry, I have the virus.
Don't even joke. Goodness gracious.
You could be like Ashley and just be like, I have the Rona.
The other day we were playing Rocket League and Studa's packets dropped. And whenever it shows you the packets drop, we joke that our packets went on vacation. And Studa immediately goes, packets? No, that's how you get the Rona. And we were not okay. We lost because we spent the rest of the game laughing over that shit.
But yeah, I had fun with MotoGP. I always have a fun with these games every year, so I'm glad that Surlyna got to check it out and enjoy it. You just have to know when you're going in that these are hardcore sim games. They're not really meant for the arcade friendly. There are options in there to make them more friendly for all audiences, but deep down, it's a sim game, and you're going to have to really be okay with playing a sim game to get the most out of MotoGP 20.
Yeah, that's pretty much been my experience with the MotoGP games.
They're good, though. I have fun with them.
They're well done. It's just, if they're not for you, they're not for you.
Exactly. All right, next game to talk about is called The Shattering, developed by Super Sexy Software and published by Deck 13 Spotlight, released April 21st on Steam for $19.99. The Shattering is a first-person story-driven psychological thriller. Oh, that's why you're covering this one. Its defining features are the dynamic environments, beautiful aesthetic, and intriguing story. The gameplay is meant to submerge you in the mind of John as you take each step forward into the twisted mystery of what happened. Cole, what is The Shattering?
I'm still not entirely sure, and I beat the game.
Okay, then.
That's kind of the nature of a psychological thriller, though, right? Like, it's just meant to fuck with you. And The Shattering does a very good job of fucking with you. And yet, never at any time was I like, this game is fucking with me. But by the end of it, I found myself just sitting like slumped in my chair like, I just got fucked. And that's a good psychological thriller right there. That's what I want. I want that story that I shut it down after I beat it. And then 3 days later, I'm like, God damn it. Why am I still reliving this minute by minute? That's how it should be. So, The Shattering centers around John Evans, and John Evans has had an accident. Whether or not the accident is being portrayed honestly is questionable. It just is. And the reason is because John is an unreliable narrator. Your experience with John is that he is seeing a therapist who is helping him piece together his memories pre-car accident and leading up to it. So you'll experience the days prior the accident, and then you'll also experience some of, say, John's childhood and other moments in his life that lead him up to the point where you start to unravel what from his memory is accurate and what's him just trying to gloss shit over. Leading up to that, however, you're gonna have some terrorizing moments. It's not quite layers of fear level horror, but it's on that same plane, if that makes sense. It's not quite as severe. Like, if you're afraid of overwhelming jump scares and stuff, you're not going to find yourself fear peeing over The Shattering. It's very willing to let the fear just simmer on you. And that to me is its own special kind of horror. And it's pretty divisive. A lot of people honestly don't like psychological horror because they don't want to sit and think about what they just experienced. They just want to be scared and move on. That's why jump scares are super popular. Yeah. But I like that they break away from that. There are some moments where, like, at one point it was telling me to silence things around me, right? And I'm like, the TV's on. I previously turned the TV on, so I'm just gonna touch the remote and turn the TV off. But it's like, nah, that's not good enough. You can't do that. You're in the middle of a rage fit. You got to do something a little more than just touch the button on the remote, right? You got to fucking break the TV. So just that going from mentally going, okay, I'm calm and collected. Oh, no, wait, I'm breaking shit. And then wondering about the process that gets you from A to B there. That shit will sit and simmer and smolder on you for a month after playing this game. You can ask me next month and I'll be like, man, I'm still psychoanalyzing The Shattering, and I will be for another 6 months. That's not the kind of psychological horror we see often.
No.
because it has to be done carefully. And the line between good psychological horror and hot-feeded garbage is very, very thin. Okay? You have to tell the story and also make me dread wanting to know more of the story while still leading me through it. And it's very easy to cross your wires and fall into tropes and create something that you just, by the end of it, you go, wow, shit, I saw that coming. And then it's not fun anymore. But the Shattering manages to have all of its T's crossed and I's dotted. And by the end of it, you're like, well, I'll be fuck. I'm going to think about that for a while. In addition to being a good psychological horror story, it is also a very pretty game. I was genuinely surprised by the art direction. I'd seen quite a bit, from the trailer and stuff, and I was like, okay, there are moments that are just very washed out. Normally in a horror game like this, you have a lot of darkness that is used, pitch black and shadows and creepy things that go bump in the night to raise up the tension. The Shattering doesn't do that. Even when you go in a room and turn off all the lights, it's still fairly well lit. It's just a dim gray. And yet it still creeps up on that uneasiness factor with how sterile everything is in its whiteness. It's a really, really creative art decision, and it works incredibly well with the game, especially when you consider how much of it is meant to be portrayed as memory and what is actual event. It adds a really nice touch that they've gone that way. I was also really surprised with the lighting. There's one scene, again, where you're like in a hotel room and the door is cracked. And like they could have very easily just done like a sliver of the light, indicated on the carpet or whatever. But like the way that the light actually shines through and the particles are floating in it, and you're like, God damn, somebody's sitting animated particles floating around in a sliver of light. And it's incredible. It just really boosts that atmosphere and adds to that uneasiness factor. That goes along with the audio with the game too. It does a lot for just boosting up the creepiness. It was funny because I kept kind of struggling to determine what time period the game was taking place in. Because you set in this hotel room, and I'm like, okay, there's elements here that look like this could be an older time period. And then like you get into the hotel room and the big TV on the wall is a big hunk of flat screen that's mounted to the wall. And I'm like, not an older time period. But at the same time, the audio that's playing is like 20s and 30s radio music. And you're like, could be an older time period. Then it adds to that never being sure of what's going on, which really ramps up the psychological horror effect.
Nice.
I was very pleasantly surprised. I had hopes for the Shattering that it would be good, but I was surprised at how good and how much I enjoyed it.
Well, then overall $20. What do you think?
I think it's very solid for $20. And if you like psychological thriller or horror at all, you're not going to be disappointed. I give it a buy it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, next game is called Quern, Undying Thoughts, developed and published by Zadbox Entertainment, released April 24th on Xbox One for $19.49. Discover the truth about Quern's past, unfold the mysteries of its present, and be the explorer who shapes its future. Quern introduces reusable puzzle mechanics to the classic genre, making the player think about the game as a whole and not just as a series of individual challenges. Cole, what is Quern besides an awesome name to say?
So we talked recently when I reviewed Abduction about how much I loved Myst and how just Myst hung with me as like one of the greatest games I played as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Quern is basically like a modern Myst. If you hadn't told me that the devs for Abduction hadn't made it, I would have been like, I would have thought it was theirs. It's so similar to Myst that I could have mixed it and Abduction up in a playthrough if I didn't know which one was developed by who. And that's high praise because it's a beautiful first person puzzle game with a lot of that same exploratory gameplay and just kind of fumbling your way through the clues and looking for key items in the world and figuring out how to use them. I'm not 100% sure on the whole story. I haven't 100%ed it yet. I'm still playing through it. I think I'm on part 10 or so out of 12 as far as like areas to unlock go. So I'm pretty good way, but I'm still just like, nothing makes sense. And that reminds me again very much of Myst. When you start the game, you have a first person perspective and you're just kind of like warped into this mystery world. There's a professor who has left behind all of these clues. He was working, dabbled in gardening and alchemy and gems. And there's just all these weird secrets hidden everywhere for you to find. You'll need to find random items like levers and keys, and everything is a puzzle. You don't go anywhere without uncovering something first. Which is nice. There's always something to do and something to look for. And it's not necessarily that you're going to like not know what you're trying to put together. Even if you may not understand why you're putting certain items together, they all kind of feel obvious as to where they go. So it's a little more intuitive than maybe Myst used to be. I figured out where I was going without spending 6 months looking around at the pretties. It is a pretty game, though.
It is pretty, but I don't know if you ran into it. I ran into a good amount of screen tearing in the game.
I didn't have any screen tearing, but I had what would normally be described as texture pop in. When things were outside of the draw distance and like as you're moving, it's almost like there's a completely opaque fog that just moves along too. And like, so whole buildings will just become uncovered like somebody's pulling a sheet off of them and you're like, okie dokie. That is the only thing that kind of threw me off about the game, was just like, when there's like whole buildings and whole giant masses coming out of the water, the water's not pretty. Although I think I've been spoiled by Sea of Thieves and I have very high standards for pretty water these days.
Yeah.
I remember like just looking out over the water in the game. I'm like, somebody made a box and duplicated it. That's okay. Indie games have budgets. You're not going to be like taking any screenshots of it for your wallpaper. But as far as the rest of the game goes, it looks pretty and you're like, yeah, okay, this is believable. It feels like a real world that you can interact with and be a part of. Even if it's a little weird. I know that there are guides and stuff. You may want to have one on hand. Even though a lot of the puzzles seemed pretty straightforward, even in their weirdness, there are some where you're just like, I don't think I'm ever going to figure this out without help. But thankfully it's been out long enough on Steam that there's plenty of guides to help you along. There's also a lot of hidden stuff that you could completely miss. And then you have to be like, well, I hope you either save scummed, which you can do pretty easily because it gives you several save slots, or, you're out of luck. You're going to play it again. Hope you missed something at the beginning. Oddly enough, I have never played The Witness, but from what everybody has ever described as The Witness, I feel like if you were a fan of that, you would probably be a fan of Quern. It's very similar puzzle solving mechanic.
I'm very surprised to hear you haven't played The Witness.
I know. I keep seeing it. I saw it on sale for a little while, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get it. And then it went off sale before I could get it. And I just never got it. I think it was on Game Pass, and I didn't have time to play it then either.
How do you?
Yeah, I know.
Well, Quern being 1949, what do you think?
I think there's plenty enough there to keep you busy for a while to justify that price. And like I said, the only thing that I thought was off about it was the draw distance effect. Besides that, I think it's a pretty good puzzle game, and most people are probably going to enjoy it. So yeah, I can give it a buy it.
Awesome. Next game to talk about is called Pirate Outlaws, developed and published by Fabled Game, released April 14th, out of Steam Early Access for $19.99. Pirate Outlaws is an easy-to-play roguelike card game. Build your deck and combos to become a reputed pirate. Cole, tell us about Pirate Outlaws.
You know how I said I hadn't 100% completed Quern yet?
This is why.
Pirate Outlaws is why. God damn it, I'm a sucker for a good card game. Damn it. If you like Slay the Spire, and we all know I love fucking Slay the Spire. If you like Slay the Spire, but you ever played it and thought, boy, I wish this had pirates. Well, here's your game. You're going to be very, very happy with Pirate Outlaws. Unless you're on console, get fucked. It's only on Steam right now, I think. I might be on Epic. I'm not sure. I didn't check. But I played it on Steam, so that's what we're rolling with. It has a nice little... I don't know if I want to quite say it's low poly. It's not low poly, but it's just a very unique art style that's going to be hard for me to describe over a microphone, so just you might have to look that up on your own. Or watch Twitch. Joe might show it on screen if he's not dead. Don't die, Joe.
I'm trying.
I see you keep rubbing your eyes, and I'm like, no.
I can't help it. I'm yawning.
I'm
a watery yawner.
Oh, no. But yeah, it's got a really unique art style. It's very similar. If you're playing the navigate mode, it's very, very much like Slay the Spire. You start off at the bottom of the map. It branches out 3 or 4 different paths that you can choose from. Obviously, the paths are marked out. You can look at them in advance to choose where you want to go. I would recommend doing that because you may find out that you are in front of the boss with only 5 health points and you've got a market instead of a tavern, so you can't heal. It uses a relic system like Slay the Spire did, so as you compete in battles, you can win relics that will help you out. Depending on which character you choose, you might start off with a relic, although unlike Slay the Spire, you do not start one automatically regardless. There's only certain characters that get starting relics. Otherwise, you got to find it on your own. Go plunder, you thieving bastard. The first character that you start off with, I thought I was doing really, really poorly at Pirate Outlaws the first 10 times I played. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing wrong here. But everything from how the card decks are set up, the kind of options that you have, very, very Slay the Spire. And I was like, good. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I've already got my foot in the door. But I kept dying like a dumb bitch. And I would die on the 3rd or 4th, path. And I'm like, what the fucking hell am I doing? And then I unlocked the second character and I realized that no, the first character just sucks. They're just testing your chops with that dude. The second character is where it's at. Now, the first character is like a brute and he has 3 ammo points. I need to back up a little bit. when you're in the ship on the map, you have 100 AP, which is your action points. Moving around on the map costs AP. And so you could effectively be kicking ass and taking names, but because you went the long way about things, you run out of action points before you even get to a boss and get fucked that way. When you are moving your boat without action points, you have a chance of sinking. That chance of sinking is bullshit. No matter how low my chance of sinking has been, I have sunk every time.
Wow.
I either have really shitty luck or that is a lie just to make you feel like you could risk it. You can't. In addition to the action points that the boat has, your character also has 3 action points when they're in a battle, unless you have different characters, then they may have more or less action points. So your action points in battle is actually ammo. Ranged attacks, such as using swords or throwing melee attacks use swords, and they don't cost any ammo at all. Whereas using guns, throwing bombs, or anything of that nature requires ammo. So you will have cards that replenish your ammo. You will have cards that you do not need to use ammo to attack with. And you will also have your ones that actually have ammo needs. So an actual just regular shot from your pistol will cost you 1 AP, 1 ammo. Whereas you may have a berserk mode that will cost you 3 ammo. Some characters don't have 3 ammo. And if you're building your deck and you have somebody who only has 2 ammo and you get a card that costs 3, you're fucked. You need to be paying attention to how you build your deck. Because even though that may be the case, you can still find workarounds. You can find relics that will give you extra ammo. Or you can find a card that will make cards cost less ammo. And then you can do that to balance out so that even a melee character can have a ammo heavy build. But you need to, just build your deck out carefully. It is a roguelite, so it doesn't matter how well you build it. It's gonna die eventually. And when you die, you start all over again, and you can get permanent unlocks that will help you out. After you reach certain levels, then you can unlock. They're chosen for you. You don't get any say-so over it, but like you may get extra hit points, or you may cost less action points to travel to certain islands, or you may get better rewards, more coins, things like that. In addition to the navigate, which has, I didn't write it down, I think there were 5 different stories you could navigate through. I know there's at least 4 for sure, but I think there were 5. In addition to that, though, there's also the arena. Now, this is something that Slay the Spire doesn't have, and I was very into this. The arena is basically the equivalent of a boss rush. So it's a wave mode. You go in, you fight one wave, you get your loot. You fight the next round, get your loot. Make it 10 rounds, you fight a boss, you get your loot. And then you carry on, see how far you can make it. All the while you're building out your deck and your loot and your relics after each fight. So it takes out the whole navigating with the boat element. But that also means you don't have the luxury of like running into events and getting free upgrades or free perks and things like that.
Yeah. Like
you would in a navigate game. But it is nice to just sit down and go, how fucking far can I make it this time? And I will admit, the first time I played it, I didn't make it that far. I didn't make it that far at all. I made it to like round 4. But I was also playing with the bum guy that you start off with. Really, really hated that guy.
Nice.
I was far happier once I unlocked the Sword Master, who also happens to be female. And it's funny because the Sword Master has less ammo, but she kicks so much more ass because every time she does a melee attack, she heals. Ooh. And I'm like, yes, please. I like anything that can keep me alive. Yes. I think there were 12 characters in all that you could unlock. And I've just been like, I unlock one and I go, yeah, but they're not the Sword Master. And then I keep rolling with the Sword Master because she's the one I keep getting the farthest with. And I've actually beaten the first 2 Navigate stories with the Sword Master, and I can't beat the first one at all with anybody else. Wow. So I'm stuck with her forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that was the same experience that I had with Slay the Spire. I was very, very good with the silent, and everybody else, I was just like, I can't do this. And it took me forever to actually beat the game with any character other than this. I think I had beat the game like 7 or 8 times with the silent before I beat it with anybody else.
Oh,
so,
Lord.
I mean, I'm very much going to have the same experience long term with Pirate Outlaws that I had there. And I say long term because I absolutely am going to play this forever. And all of my remaining reviews from here on out will suck because I will be busy playing Pirate Outlaws and not have as much time.
Sounds good. Then for $20, what's your verdict on Pirate Outlaws? If
you like card building games any at all, then you absolutely want to play Pirate Outlaws, and I give it a buy it.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, next game to talk about is called Doug Hates His Job, developed and published by Supervillain Games. It released April 24th on Xbox One for $6.99. Doug Hates His Job is a beat-em-up game with an office mockumentary style about sales agent who, as the title states, hates his job. With 8 styles of gameplay, you get to decide how Doug responds to annoying coworkers, crazy clients, and a ruthless boss. Cole, what is Doug Hates His Job?
Doug Hates His Job is the story of Doug, and he hates his job, and also my Xbox. And we'll get into that in a second. So this one is low poly, even though I have a tendency to want to refer to things as low poly when they are not. Doug Hates His Job actually is. Yay me. And it is, at times, it is like a narrative choose your own adventure type of game. And at other times, it is a brawler. And at other times, it is a shooter where you're fighting pissed off sentient printers. This is a weird game. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a very weird game.
It's very hard to put my finger on like any one aspect of the game and be like, this is what it is, because then immediately you play the next level and that is not what it is. I started off having a fist fight in the office bathroom with a coworker because I said something he didn't like. And so I got, I had a beat 'em up moment with him. And then, like, eventually I'm in a shooting spree against, like I said, sentient printers because I'm having a nightmare about sentient printers, which is apparently what another coworker's running gag is. At one point, I just chose not to get out of bed and it was game over because I got fired for not going to work. This game feels like it can't even say it's a fever dream because it's so real, because you literally, everybody's had that I'm not getting out of bed to go to work day. And then at the same time, printers that are trying to murder you. But while we are on the printers, let me discuss how come Doug Hates His Job also hates my Xbox. When I was playing the game, everything was going fine. Everything was going great. I had just beat up a whole bunch of grannies and grampies, and I don't know what they ever did to me, but we were fighting it out, and it was fine. And then I got to the printer fever dream, and I couldn't shoot, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't do anything. And the game was just like, you don't exist today. And no matter what I did, there was no input that functioned. So that's problematic. That's not what you want for a game you've got to review.
Yeah.
And so we reached out to the devs. They reached out back to us. And after a couple of emails, they were like, do you have any keyboards or mice plugged into your Xbox? And I'm like, well, I have a dongle for a wireless keyboard and mouse plugged in, but they're not actually on. I don't think they even have batteries in them right now. I'm not even sure where the mouse is because we moved all my stuff recently. But it's plugged in. And they were like, okay, so the only way we can replicate the error you're having is by having a keyboard and mouse plugged in. Can you remove the dongle? Well, I can't because I'm not allowed to move things anymore. And I had to wait for my husband to come back so he could pull out the TV stand to get behind it to reach for the dongle in the back of the Xbox. And when he did, and he unplugged it, and I loaded the game up, and it was fine. And it played
Very
fine.
Weird.
So, if you are going to play Doug Hates His Job, don't have a keyboard or mouse or a wireless dongle plugged in, because it won't function.
That is very weird.
I would like to think I did not hear back from them after I told them that, yes, that was the problem. But I would like to think they're going to patch that if they can. In the meantime, if you do pick the game up, then I would recommend making sure you don't have anything plugged in, at least before you get to the printer section.
Yeah.
Which is like scene 27 or some shit. So yeah, that's something to keep into consideration, because that is a bit of a problem.
Yeah. Well, that weirdness aside, the bright point is it's only $7. So what do you think?
It's $7. It's a relatively easy completion. I will say during some of the brawler segments, I got a little overly frustrated. There are points where the enemies will just lay into you and the game kind of like glitches out and doesn't know what to do, because you can be blocking, but the enemy gets behind you and cracks you in the back of the head. It's like it killed you, but you were blocking, but it didn't kill you. And that's a problem. And it's like, were you working? Are you not going to work? We don't know. And then you just fall over even if you're like full health. I'm like, cool. That's not good. So there are still some other issues with the game, but at $7, I think if you're looking for an inexpensive, mildly interesting, just kind of weird story, it's one of those that like, it's just, you have to appreciate it for being the odd story that it is. If you're looking for some kind of life-changing narrative, maybe play the Shattering. But if you're looking for something that's just going to put a smile on your face and make you giggle and go, yeah, that's weird, but I can relate, then Doug Hates His Job is probably more your speed. And in that regard, I would say I would give it a try it. But I do hope that they patch the keyboard issue. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have a preview of the game Atomic Crops, developed by Birdbath Games, published by Raw Fury. It's available on the Epic Games Store right now in early access for $14.99. It will be releasing out of early access as well as releasing onto Xbox One, Switch, and PS4 on May 28th. Atomic Crops is an action-packed roguelike farming simulator where you must cultivate and defend the last farm in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, farm mutated crops, marry townsfolk, and kill every mutant creature that tries to invade. Cole, give us a preview of Atomic Crops.
Atomic Crops is if Stardew Valley and... oh shit, what was it called? Damn it. What was the veggie shooter called? Oh no, I had it on the tip of my tongue and I lost it.
Veggie shooter. Oh, I forget.
You know what I'm talking about.
With like the neon colors.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget.
The walking vegetables.
There you go.
I Googled it. Uh, if Stardew Valley and the Walking Vegetables kind of had like a bastard LCD love child, LSD LCD. Lord, I can't English now. I'm fried just thinking about this game. If they had an LSD induced love child and then like gave it a hit of meth the moment it hit the ground, that would be Atomic Crops. And so with that in mind, your job is to basically farm these little mutated crops. You've got to hoe the field. You just have a little small area to start with. You can gradually make it bigger though. You've got to hoe the field, plant seed, bring some water to it, give it some plant food. Plant food comes from the remains of the mutated killer bunnies and the mutated killer worms and all the other weird mutated creatures that come out at night and try to destroy your crops. That's where the twin stick part of the game comes in, because you're literally standing in your field, holding left trigger to dig, while also holding right trigger to shoot and aiming with your thumbstick. Because as you're digging and planting, you're just getting swarmed. Now you have a little bit of time before the enemy waves will start to come after you. And that's all well and good, but it's a very short amount of time. And I honestly wish they would give you a little more time to get your plant started. Especially when you've built up to a larger area, because you often don't have enough time to get much in the ground before the waves begin. So then you'll have waves of enemies coming after you once it turns dark. If you survive the night, you harvest as many of your plants as you can. Then you use potatoes for currency. Harvest as many of your plants as you can and save as many of them as you can from the enemies. And then in the morning, if you survive, then a helicopter comes and picks you back up and takes you to town. The more frequently you do this, the more potatoes that you earn that you can then trade in for other seeds. If you want, you can actually take a night. There were times where I wouldn't even bother trying to farm anything for a couple of nights in the beginning. I would just go around to the surrounding areas and look for the bonus items. So like I found a sprinkler at one point that I could use. I then found a cow that would walk around and water my crops for me. It was a cow with some buckets on it. I found a chicken. I don't know what he did, but he was out there and he was just being the best little chicken he could. But if you decide that you're going to go and explore and look for additional seeds or look for any of these other items that can help you with the actual farm task, then you're basically like accepting that you're not going to plant anything that night because you just don't have enough time to do all that. But if you do that, you are better off in the long run, because this is the kind of game that carries on over time. Like it has the same seasons like you do in Stardew Valley, where it's like spring day one, and then eventually you work in summer, and that's all fine and dandy. But that's something to take into consideration, like how you're going to play the game for your run. Are you going to just like go whole hog and plant tiny gardens over and over and over until you amass your fortune of potatoes? Or are you going to be brave enough to go out to the surrounding areas, build up the bridges, and look for some nifty stuff to have on hand that can, help make your job a little easier in the long run? Really interesting game. But like I said, my biggest complaint was just that you didn't have enough time to really get anything going. It was slow moving in the beginning because you don't have enough time to plant enough plants to really get a grasp. Like you just have to commit that, you may or may not be spending a lot of time on your run. And even if you do get to spend a lot of time on it, it's probably going to go tits up and you're going to lose it all and have to start over. Because it's a roguelite, and if you die, get fucked.
Yeah. Well, the bright side is there's still a month before it comes out, so they could easily rework the beginning of the game and try to make it a bit quicker to start. I don't know if the price is going to be going up between now and final release, but is this a game that we should be keeping our eyes on?
I intend to keep following it. I hope that there's a little more polish going on with it, some time consideration, but the concept is super cool, and I'm invested.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we have some DLC for the game Bus Simulator, the official map extension developed by Still Alive Studios, published by Astragon Entertainment, released April 14th on Xbox One and PS4 for $12.99. The official map extension of the popular Bus Simulator expands the main game by 2 brand new municipalities I hate that word.
You struggled there.
I did. I'm assuming that there's more syllables than there are.
Mm-hmm.
But oh well. 2 brand new God damn.
Municipalities.
That word, with 9 new varied missions and 20 bus stops. Many new road miles in Seaside Valley and its surrounding area are just waiting to be discovered by you and board your favorite bus. Cole, tell us about the new DLC for Bus Simulator.
So it adds 2 new areas, one having an airport, the other being a university. I absolutely adored the more rural looking area. I will say though, I can't pronounce the name, so please don't ask me to. I will say though, that it also added an extra challenge to the game, that I was not ready for. The roads in the DLC area, in the rural countryside part, they're much windier and more narrow than the roads in the base game, which is very like urban centric. It was a little more like driving at home when I was driving in the DLC area, which is a nice change of pace for Bus Sim. It's not what I would have expected. I would have expected them to keep the more cityscape gameplay. Seeing them venture out of that and allow you to add a more complicated route to your play is nice. It's very, very pretty. I was very lost just looking at my surroundings at times, and then you got people getting mad because you're not closing the doors and moving the bus. But I can get sidetracked quite easily. There are also 9 extra missions that have been added with the DLC. If you are playing the missions, you need to have completed 12 missions from the base game first. Then you can pick up the DLC missions after that. Or you need to at least be level 8 so that you can play them through sandbox mode. You cannot play the missions in sandbox mode. You can just go through the areas. But it's at least still, if you're into playing the campaign. I'm more of a let me drive around and pick people up kind of player. Yeah. And so I had to go for the sandbox mode because I was like, yeah, I don't know that I'll ever get through the missions in this game. And that's okay. Like my husband, he's like dead set. He's like, I've got the missions and I'm doing this. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not even sure that's English, but okay. Look at the pretty airplane. Whee! Oh,
jeez.
But I was surprised by how much they added with the DLC, though. Look, the DLC has a very plain name, and so I didn't have a lot of hope here, okay? Like, when it's literally just official expansion, you're like, okay, you could have gave it a name. But no, I was pleasantly surprised at how much the DLC actually added. There's also some new skins and stuff. I have my bus made the way I like it, and I'm not going to change it no matter what DLC adds. And then the cat just tore the house apart, but it's fine.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm set in my ways. I'm like, no, I made it this way. I like this. I'm not going to change it. It's fine.
Right. Well, then, $13 on the DLC. What do you think?
I do think it's a solid DLC for $13. I don't think if you haven't already been invested in Bus Simulator, it's not going to make you run out and buy Bus Simulator. But if this is a game that you're already into, then the DLC is going to give you plenty more to come back for. It's going to expand your campaign experience a little bit. It's going to give you some more route options. It has 20 new bus stops. That's you as you plan your own routes. You can go about those bus stops any way that you choose to. Plus, you can play it in 4-player online co-op, and the DLC is online friendly as well.
Nice.
You can't be mad at that. If this is a game that you are already into, like my husband loves these fucking driving games, then you're gonna be like, yeah, I got a bargain at $13, and you're probably gonna be happy.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, we got one final game to talk about tonight. We got to get Dark Mika in here, so let's add her to the call and see if this works here.
She's not gonna answer.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Did it work?
Yes, it worked.
Oh, no. I mean, yay.
Hello. How are you?
I'm still alive. I didn't sleep last night. It was like 8 a.m. when I looked up, or 2 p.m. or I don't know what time it was. God.
I don't know what time it is now, and I'm looking at the clock. Like it says 10:12, but I don't know if I believe it.
I was going to say I'll have what he's having, but if he's having the corona, I don't want that.
I'm serious. Like, what was it? Sunday morning, I was watching some friends play Rock Band, and I saw them streaming. I was like, oh, wow, they're doing an early Tuesday morning stream, aren't they? And I joined them, and then it clicked to me. It's like, this isn't Tuesday morning. This is Sunday.
God damn.
What day is it? Why can't I remember what day is it?
Yeah, my schedule is all fucked as far as what day is what at this point. There is no hope for overcoming it.
See, now both of you understand my issues and why I have trouble remembering to be here.
Well, I keep saying it's only going to get worse for me because the girls get out of school on the 8th, which they've been doing the NTI homeschool stuff. So at least I've had the basis of, yes, they have to do school tomorrow, or no, they don't have to do school tomorrow. But now I'm going to lose that on the 8th. And then after that, on the 9th, I'm going to be like, it could be June 97th for all I know.
Probably is.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm a little jealous of you, Cole. You got 3 games that I wanted, but my PC wasn't good enough to play any of them.
My new PC plays 18.
Just grr. That's all I have. Just grr.
But hey, you got one game to talk about, right?
Yes, I do.
So let's get to it. Final game to talk about tonight is called The Mosaic, developed by Krillbyte Studio, published by Raw Fury. This one released back January 23rd on Xbox One, Switch, PC, and PS4 for $19.99. You live a monotonous life in a cold city with no real sense of meaning until one crucial day when strange things start to happen and everything changes. Mosaic is a dark and atmospheric adventure game. Dark Mika, tell us about The Mosaic.
You play as a nobody in a shitty town. All you do is you wake up, you go to work, you come home, and you go fucking to bed. And that's it. That's the entirety of every day. You spend about a week in this dude's life, which is just everything is grays. It's all colorless, drab dog shit. And it's like a corporate dystopia. One corporation seems to own fucking everything. So like you even see your fucking bank balances, and it's like it's constantly in the negative because every day you get paid, the corporation is also taking money from you for all these fucking different things. So you're always in the negative anyways, which kind of defeats the purpose of everything. But and then fucking he apparently gets high or something. I'm not entirely sure what the fuck is going on in the game. Because one day he just hears some music, and suddenly the world is colorful for all of like 3 or 4 minutes, and then it's right back to dog shit. And then after that, you start talking to a goldfish that isn't in water. He just talks to you because he's a goldfish that doesn't live in a fishbowl. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the character gets high. I don't remember ever seeing him do anything, but obviously he got high.
Yeah, I'm confused.
At some point. Yeah. That's the name of the game. But the fish pops up every now and then and leads you to other musicians and stuff to get a little bit more color in your world, because no one else wants anything to do with these people. They all think they're blights, and that's what you're supposed to think. Everyone wears the same outfits. Everyone's insanely tall and thin, and your character's short and stubby and a little fat bastard. Well, he's not that fat, but, you know, whatever. So everyone kind of completely ignores each other. So all these musicians kind of bring some color to life. And he keeps trying to interact with them because no one else is willing to interact with him. And eventually he gets to a point where you decide, hey, I want to do some good because I'm tired of working, because this is fucking misery. And he does some shit. And then the game ends. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. The only text in the game is like a robot. You're a robot fucking overlord at the company telling you to do this job and not to be late and shit like that. Beyond that, there's no conversations between any characters or anything. There is like no comprehensible story at all. It's all abstracts. And it doesn't, and it to me, as someone who's never worked his entire life up until he started meeting the musicians and shit, that to me is what work always seemed like. Drab, colorless, dog shit life that no one wants to do, and if anyone had a choice, they shouldn't want to do that. That is what I see work as. And then he meets all these musicians and starts being like, okay, well, maybe work isn't fucking everything. You gotta do shit other than work. And that seems to be what the game is based around.
It's a good life lesson.
Yeah. Be like me. Be a lazy shit who doesn't work. Fuck yeah.
Cole, have you ever played the Mosaic or no?
No, I missed out on it. I had assumed that somebody else had already reviewed it before now, or I would have asked for it.
Yeah, I assumed you had, actually.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
It released at the end of January, which is where we were kind of like not back yet.
Yeah.
So that's one that kind of slipped through the cracks.
I think it's on sale right now.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I believe it's in the sale that's currently going on, or maybe it just ended. I don't know. I don't really keep up with sales.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Gotta type things in.
I know, it's misery.
When your computer is as slow as mine, everything is miserable.
Are you saying that you want me to look it up then?
I mean, you could probably do it quicker than me. But I'm not giving up. I am working. I am making an effort. That Insane says it's $14.99, so it is on sale.
Woo! Yeah. So, and there's two versions of it. There's also the 1% edition of it, which changes a little tiny bit of the graphics, and that's about it. It's just a way to piss away more money.
It's $15.99 on Xbox, and by the time this releases, it will not be on sale anymore. It only has 7 hours left.
Well,
nice.
There you go, Cole. Go get it, Cole. You got this. It doesn't take too very long to beat the game, but to 100% it is a bitch. And the achievements for 100%ing it are really weird because they're not for playing the game. Inside the game, your characters can get on their phone to check their bank statement and to play a little clicker game. You know, one of those mindless clicker games that exist. Every achievement is for playing that game.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Like, there's ones for like, okay, click it and get 1 million clicks. 1 billion clicks, 1 trillion clicks. Those are the two I'm missing at this point. There's one for getting all the way up to level 100, then prestiging and doing that fucking 10 times. And you can keep going past that too.
Oh, my Lord.
Like, yeah. But the achievements stop at 10. But it's going to take forever to get you to fucking 1 trillion goddamn things. Unless you get a turbo controller. Now do you know why I'm trying to get that controller, Joe?
Cheap. That's so cheap.
Hey, it's better than clicking the fucking thing 1 trillion times.
Bah, you can do it. I believe in you.
I believe in me too. I believe that I can get something to make it easier and I can be done with it. With a turbo controller, it still takes 15 fucking hours to get that achievement.
Well, as it stands, $20 on the Mosaic. What do you think?
If you're not an achievement hunter, this is going to take you like 3 hours maybe. If you are, it's going to take about 15 if you have a turbo controller. Otherwise, I have no fucking clue. Good luck. I pity your fucking fingers. So on the price point, I'm a little more on the wait for a sale point for myself because I'm poor as dog shit. But I think it's definitely worth playing. It's a nice little game, and I think it has it's trying to give you a good life lesson. Whether you fucking understand the lesson or not is a completely different story, but it's good. I liked it. So yeah, I say wait for a sale just because that's really expensive for how little time you put into it.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode. It's been another short one, thankfully, because I am ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to stay up and play some more fucking Deliver Us the Moon. That's what I've been playing this entire time.
Nice. Well, we'll be hearing about that one next week. Gonna have some fun stuff to talk about next week. But until then, does anyone have any final words to end the show?
Fuck sticks.
What kind of sticks?
Fuck sticks. That's the kind of stick it is. It's a fuck stick.
I thought you were saying fuck sticks.
Oh no, a fuck stick.
What sticks are you telling to go fuck? Like, fuck those sticks over there.
All of them.
Cole, what about you? Any final words about sticks?
Nope.
Helpful.
That's why I'm the co-host.